G'day mates, Keg11 here and welcome to the German Grand Prix of 1998 from the Hockenheimring, just outside of Hockenheim in the Baden-Württemberg state, in Germany. Now, I'm coming into this race hoping on a better result this year, because if you guys recall from 1997, this was the race where I had a big collision with my now teammate Untitled Chapter. After losing some pace, coming out of the final corner on the first lap, I fell out of position with Mika Hakkinen, Untitled Chapter, and etc. But little that I didn't know is that Giancarlo will end up spinning out on the first corner of the Nord curve, and by the time I realised he was blocking the road, I had crashed into the side of him, rendering both our cars out of the race. Let's hope we get a better position this race and not hit into my now teammates. Anyway, looking at the actual real life results of this race, it was McLaren domination, in part because of their progress all season, but also in part that Michael Schumacher had quite a few problems during practice. Ferrari were debuting a new longer wheelbase F300, but it had couple of problems throughout practice, which Schumacher was tired of, in which Schumacher was getting fed up with. So he went back to his old car, but spun out and then suffered an engine failure. So he managed to get it up for qualifying, but only up to 9th place. But he did do a good job in bringing it up to 5th, so he scored some points there. Fairly noteworthy finishes. Jacques Villeneuve finishes 3rd place, so he gets 4 points for the Williams team. I think it's one of his best results of the year so far. But also Damon Hill is scoring his first points of the year, finishing in 4th place, so 3 points for Jordan there. Now looking at the Drivers' Championship, Mika Hakkinen is still in the lead on 60 points, but due to a win at the last race in Britain, and a 2nd place in Austria, sees me jump straight up to 2nd place, only 8 points behind Mika Hakkinen. So that's been a really good effort for me, considering I was down to 4th place after a relatively poor, I wouldn't say poor, but only scoring 7 points between 3 races, Monaco, Canada, and France, especially a retirement in France, did put a dent in my championship ambitions. But I'm back, and I'm back in contention for the championship, as I was at the start of the season. In 3rd place, we got David Coulthard on 42 points. Not scoring in Austria, that has not helped him, but other than that, he's been having a very consistent year, being on the podium for the majority of his races. So all we just need for him to is just get a couple more podium positions to see him move back up the table a little bit. Mark Schumacher is in 4th place, like Coulthard, consistently on the podium, although he hasn't scored for the last 2 races. He's scored 7th in Great Britain and 9th in Austria, so he needs to start scoring again soon. In 5th position, the 2nd Ferrari driver Eddie Irvine on 28 points. A bit adrift from Michael Schumacher, so we're seeing a little bit of another battle pack here for the mid-range positions between Eddie Irvine. Heinz-Harald Frentzen in the Williams on 17 points. He's the only point scorer for Williams this season, and adding on to his total, he scores another 4 points after scoring 3rd in Austria, which is his best position, 2nd best position all season. And rounding out the point scoring position, we got Jean Alesi on 13 points for Sauber, Damon Hill on 3 points for Jordan, Giancarlo Fisichella's 2 points, scoring his first 2 points in Austria, giving Benetton some much needed points to help our constructors battle. And then drawing on 10th place, we've got Jarno Trulli and Ralf Schumacher also scoring his first points of the season. And in the Constructors' Championship, McLaren Mercedes is still in the lead on 102 points. Just waiting on them to secure their Constructors' Championship victory. They are 33 points ahead of Ferrari. So I would think they would be able to secure, if they keep up a good run like this, they should be able to secure the Constructors' Championship by about Belgium, maybe Italy. We'll just have to see in the next few races. Benetton Mecachrome are on 54 points. Only 15 points from Ferrari. So catching them is achievable, but as stated before, it's being increasingly difficult. Although Giancarlo's 2 points in Austria did help a little bit. Fourth place, Williams Mecachrome on 17 points, all scored by Frentzen. And then we got Sauber Petronas on 13, all scored by Alesi. Jordan on 4 points, initially only scored by Damon Hill, but Ralf Schumacher's single point moves them up to 4th. And Jarno Trulli's single point has given Prost the last 30 point score positions on 1 point. So now looking at the starting grid for this race, I'm in the lead after putting in a time of 1 minute 35.449, which turns out to be 2.4 seconds almost ahead of Heinz-Held Frentzen in the Williams. So the local driver is right up there, potential to win the race, particularly after his good showing in Austria, so that sounds quite likely. On the second row of the grid, we get Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard, so it's a McLaren. And then Ferrari score the third row, Michael Schumacher beating his Irish teammate, by about 0.4 of a second. Rounding out the top 10, we got the second Benetton of Giancarlo Fisichella, the number 1 Sauber of Jean Alesi, the number 1 Jordan of Damon Hill, and the number 2 Stewart of Johnny Herbert. So, a good result for the Stewart team. I think it's their best qualifying position all year so far. Be interesting, which is a good step considering that I haven't had the best car for this year. Looking further through this back of the grid, Villeneuve is down in 14, so it's down a little bit. Mika Salo is up to 11, so a good qualifying result for the Tyrrell driver. Looking towards the back end of the grid, Olivier Panis is in 19, so it's a better qualifying position compared to the rest of the season. And in 21 and 22nd, we got Toru Takagi and Riccardo Rossi. Apologies for saying Mika Salo was part of the Tyrrell team. That was actually the Arrows team. Toru Takagi and Riccardo Rossi are the Tyrrell drivers. Okay, with that done, let's get to this race. Okay, here we go. About to start the German Grand Prix in 2, 1. Go, go, go! The German Grand Prix is underway, and you see me holding on to Lears, coming to Nord Curve. No, Frentzen gets a jump on me as we come to Nord Curve for the first time. Oh, I get hit a little back by a car. Oh, and another car maybe. But not a problem. I think it's a McLaren of Hakkinen, and I think the Ferrari of Schumacher maybe. As we go barreling down the back straight for the first time. Legendary Hockenheimring, the old Hockenheimring before it was changed forever. It's come down barreling to the first set of chicanes, the Clark chicane, named after Jim Clark. And if you ask me, the easiest of the chicanes, because you slow down and go through it relatively easily. Not like the next chicane, Ost, where you can't really see where it turns because it's downhill, as I'm about to demonstrate here. Slowing down a bit more, second gear, see the turn, turning right, left, and then right again. I'm on the back side of Frentzen as we come into Ost, or he slows down a bit, almost ran to the back of his gearbox. But now we're on the returning straight now towards the third and the final of this large chicanes, the center chicane. Not as difficult to approach as Ost, but you do go through it considerably faster than Clark, so that makes it trickier to get everything right. Not too bad there. It's coming across the last part of the straight. Now we're coming to the very technical stadium section. Now this will get at a lot of tuners because they tune for the back straights, but not for this very tight Monaco-like section. The car pass Agate now. Not too bad. Now we're coming to the Sark's hairpin. I really hate this corner. Well, not as much as a gip because I always seem to go off at a gip. Not too worried there. Now we come to the last two corners, corner 15. And now the Opal curve, the final corner. This is where I lost ground last year, so you had quite a few drivers ahead of me. Come across the first to complete our final lap. And as we cross Nordcoast, I travel further than any other German Grand Prix before. As Frentzen slows down and I pass him to score first place. I'm in the lead, followed by Untitled Frentzen. And then if I remember correctly, it was Mika Hakkinen in third place, followed by, I think, David Coulthard, Michael Schumacher. And like in real life, Damon Hill and the Jordan in sixth place. I may be incorrect. We'll see what the result will be when we cross the finish line. But Frentzen is really keeping up with me very well, so I could be having a really big battle between myself and the hometown hero, Frentzen, in this occasion. Normally it'll be Schumacher, but in this case it's Frentzen. Hopefully he'll get himself his first win for Williams this season. Give them back some dignity after having a relatively poor season, after coming very close to winning both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship back in '97. But as I come across the back, returning straight now, Frentzen has fallen back, and I'm quite safely at this point in the lead as I come around center chicane relatively slowly than most other cars, but even still I keep a good distance ahead of Frentzen now. It's come to a gap now. Slow down considerably to fourth gear so I don't go into the dirt. Oh, very close to getting to the dirt now. Now I'm coming to Sarks. Keeping it close to the inside, hitting the apex, following the line. Very well done. That shows corners 14, 15. Come to Opal to complete our second lap now. Those two corners are really tricky trying to get to. You have to chain them together, or otherwise you're going to lose a lot of speed. Now the top six positions after two laps we have Kent Levin, Untitled Frentzen, Mika Hakkinen, David Coulthard, Mark Schumacher, and Damon Hill. So I was correct before, and no positions have changed coming into this third lap now. Wow, 335 kilometers now coming down the straight. Yeah, the reason that you have a really big difficulties to tune with the Hockenheimring in this old configuration is, which do you tune for? The straights or the technical section? One would say the straights because they take up the majority of the track. However, what you gain in pace on the straights, you will lose a lot of in the technical section, because you're going to be struggling with grip, and it's going to take forever for the car to speed up again. So that's a perfect opportunity for those that you've left in the dust on these straights to catch right up. And at the same time, you can't really tune it for the corners either, because on these main straights, the engine will top out much sooner, and you'll have a much easier opportunity to blow out your engine. So it's really a catch-22. But looking how I'm going here, I seem to have the tuning settings quite okay. Maybe a little bit more biased towards the straights, but other than that, quite down pat. I'm actually got a good pace with the rest of the pack. As I look to my left, I see a red car in the distance. I could say it's Frentzen, but it could maybe be Michael Schumacher as well. We'll see after we cross the finish line to start our fourth lap. I assume nothing has changed. I got the fastest lap with a 1:34.360. So a really good time for me there. It shows I picked the right tuning method for this track. Race positions after 3 laps: 11, Frentzen, Hakkinen, Coulthard, Michael Schumacher, and Damon Hill. So nothing has changed there. And I have no idea how far behind Frentzen is, but if he's losing time, then I'm just thinking, would Mika Hakkinen make a move? Because although we admit Frentzen is a good talent, but Hakkinen is a bit more talented, a bit more experienced, and with a far more superior car than the Williams, unfortunately. So I can only think that Hakkinen will be making a move on Frentzen at some point as I come into Oscurve a little bit loose, but not a problem there. Coming out of Oscurve, I look to my left and I see a Renault billboard, knowing that, and yeah, Renault something there, knowing that there are no Renault engines in this series anymore. It's just Renault-based Mechachrome engines. Well, it would change in a number of years. Renault are not out of the sport for too long. In fact, they never left if you count these engines as Renault. Not too bad coming out of Sarks there. Do I see anyone coming on the other side? I see a red car. Could be Frentzen, actually. We'll see if, unless I beat the time, which I look to be doing. Yes, another fastest lap. I think I just shaved about a second of my previous time, so I'm still in the dark to where everyone is going to be positioned, because I only showed 2 cards of this, the positions and the best lap or the gap. But more important matters, Hakkinen has passed Frentzen exactly as I predicted. But it's going to be very difficult for him to try and catch me, because by the looks of things, I have got a considerable big lead, considering I just broke the lap record for 2 laps in contention now. Now we're coming to Oss now. How will I go about it this time? Second gear, 120, 160 kilometers an hour. Oh, very clean and very quick through there, so I can commend myself. It's one of my better ones. Although looking at how I'm going here, going through the Oss curve in this game is much, much easier than other games. I recall a race I did on this track on F1 Career Challenge. I could almost not see the corner 5 to go into the Oss chicane, and I normally go off track. In fact, I got a time invalidated from a qualifying session because of it. Yeah, this is looking to be a very, very easy race, and also makes it 2 in a row. Hopefully, if I don't mess up the next lap, make it 2 in a row for Benetton, because last year Gerhard Berger scored his last race win here, in which mirrored that of real life. 97 German Grand Prix was the last race victory for Gerhard Berger, and Benetton, quite poetic, considering comes full circle that Gertie gave Benetton their first win and also gave him their last win. Unfortunately, though, little do they know that Alex will score another win that season, and I will score quite a few wins so far. So Benetton is still a race-winning force, mainly thanks to me. Now we're going to our final lap now, obviously. We just passed Clark chicane for the final time. Didn't look like anything was wrong there. I could go to say that, yes, in winning this race, I would probably get the Grand Slam, but I did not lead for 1 lap. Frentzen did, so not too bad there. I actually have to have a look at all my races this season to see if I've achieved a Grand Slam. Grand Slam, by the way, if you don't know, is pole position, fastest lap, winning the race, and staying in first position throughout the duration of the race. I didn't do it in the Italian Grand Prix last year, considering I got the fastest lap, winning the race, and coming and starting pole. I actually lost a couple of positions in the pits and at the start of the race. Briefly. I'm not sure if I've done it this season. I might have done it in Australia, but I'm confident it was Brazil. Okay, look at that. As I come across corner, the Opel curves for the final time onto the pit straight, and Kent Levin wins the German Grand Prix from 1998. Unfortunately, not gaining a fastest time on the final lap. Overall, not a bad race, actually. Really redeemed myself after my epic fail of 1997. And I believe it is my 4th race win of the entire season. That's right, 4th race win of the season. And continuing a good run I've had for the second half of the season, scoring 2 wins and a 2nd place. I'm curious to see how things will develop as the second half continues. Looking at the Grand Prix results, I win, followed by Mika Hakkinen in 2nd, so he still keeps a little bit of lead on me. And then Heinz-Harald Frentzen scoring his 2nd or 3rd podium of the season. 3rd podium of the season. Congratulations there, HH. In 4th place, David Coulthard. 5th place, Michael Schumacher, so more points to Ferrari and McLaren there. But Damon Hill finishes in 6th position, so he scores his first points since the San Marino Grand Prix, and does aid on Jordan's current points pursuit. Now looking at the Drivers' Championship, I have caught considerably to Mika Hakkinen. I'm within 4 points of the championship leader, so a win at the next race in Hungary should see me draw Hakkinen. If that's the case, then I could overtake him at Belgium and increase my lead on the Italian Grand Prix and so forth to take my Drivers' Championship. But anything can happen so far. We've only got 5 races left in the season. Speaking of which, I can actually go through the list to see who is in contention for the world title now, being with 5 races to go now. Anyway, Third place, David Coulthard on 45 points, 21 points adrift to Mika Hakkinen, so it was becoming increasingly unlikely for Coulthard to mount a championship challenge, but I doubt he's going to do it. He's pretty much in a supporting role of Hakkinen now as we speak. But more of a pressing issue, Ferrari looks like they're not going to score a championship win as it is in real life. Michael Schumacher, after scoring 2 points, is on 43 points, just 2 points adrift of David Coulthard. Eddie Irvine's in 5th place on 28 points, 34 points away from Hakkinen and keeping Heinz-Harald Frentzen at bay. Frentzen, scoring 4 points, is caught up even more to Irvine. He is within 7 points of the Ulsterman. So Frentzen will be looking to chase and hopefully overtake Irvine for 5th place in the championship. Rounding out the point scoring positions, we've got Jean Alesi on 13 points, and he is the last driver that has any mathematical chance of winning the World Championship. The remaining point scoring finishes of Hill, Fisichella, Ralf Schumacher, and Jarno Trulli are all out of title contention with 60 points or... Actually, Jean Alesi can't win the championship now. He's 53 points behind, so any driver 50 points or higher difference has no chance of winning the championship. And now looking at the Constructors Championship, McLaren are still well in the lead on 111 points. Using some quick math here, the lower down teams of Williams and Sauber have no longer have a chance of winning the World Championship. They need to be within 80 points of McLaren to be able to win the championship. Ferrari are in 2nd place on 71 points, 40 points behind McLaren Mercedes, after scoring only 2 points in this round. But Benetton has caught up to Ferrari a bit more. They're on 64, so 47 points behind McLaren, but only 7 points behind Ferrari. So we can see, Benetton's goal of catching up to Ferrari is going quite well at the moment. As well as Williams, Smecker and Sauber are in 4th and 5th. We have Jordan on 5 points now, thanks to Damon Hill and Solidary Point, and Prost perennially are in 7th place. So there we have it for the German Grand Prix. Quite a successful German Grand Prix, may I add. I'm actually quite chuffed that I'm able to win this race and making my chance at a championship berth more realistic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I apologize, it has gone 23 minutes long, which is much longer than I would have liked. So I'm going to end it here. See you guys at the next round in Hungary.